What's up, guys? So it's time for another review. We're going to be talking about Singing Hills Campground in Cave City, Kentucky. We stayed there for what, a month?
A little over a month. There's a lot of campgrounds in Cave City. So this is one that we actually searched and searched and searched for. Not necessarily for the specific campground, but for a campground that fit our needs. So we're really looking forward to doing this review.
So while we were there, we saw, like Heather said, a bunch of campgrounds. And you have a bunch of the, what would you call them, more well-known campgrounds. Like there's Jellystone and all of that around there. And we were staying for, like Heather said, just over a month. And for our budget, staying at Jellystone in kind of a touristy area was just way out of our range. And so we found Singing Hills Campground, and couldn't have been more welcoming or more inviting. I think Eldon and Beth are probably two of the sweetest people you'll ever meet, the owners of the campground there. And they kind of just made us feel like that was home the whole time we were there. So I think we both really enjoyed our time there.
So if you're looking for a campground with a whole bunch of amenities, things to do on the grounds, it's not the place for you. It's really simple and it's a small campground. But if you're looking for a place to relax, for it being very quiet, peaceful, and really pretty, it's the perfect place. And like Kenny mentioned, it's really budget friendly.
So I hope y'all enjoyed the footage that we got of the campground. And I hope if you guys are ever passing through Cave City, you stop by and give them a chance, because I think this campground probably doesn't get nearly the attention that it deserves. I mean, granted, it's full a lot of the time. It's full most nights, and weekends it's full. But there's a lot to do. You're an hour and a half from Louisville. You're 30 minutes from Bowling Green. And then Cave City itself has several different tourist attractions that you can check out and see too. So it's kind of a centralized location. You've got Mammoth Cave, Onyx Cave, all those cave systems right there. You're 15 minutes from Kentucky Down Under, where you can go pet kangaroos in Kentucky. And so it's just a really good centralized location, and it's definitely well worth the stop.
So they do offer military discount, Good Sam's membership discount, and I'm not even sure what else. I think there's others, so just make sure you ask when you call them. But they have a dump station there, so you have full hookups, but they also have a dump station, so if you're in the area staying somewhere else and you need that, they have that. They have a pond that you can fish on. It's catch and release, but it's a really pretty little pond on the back of the grounds. They have some camping, tank camping areas. It's mostly RVs, but there's a little section out in the field for camping. We did see a Boy Scout group come one weekend when it was freezing cold.
It always is, I think. Every time we see a Boy Scout troop come out to go camping at a campground, it is always bitter cold. And those guys are over there sleeping in tents. I'm like, man.
I actually asked Kenny when they came if that was what they do on purpose, because it was the same thing in Boone.
But they've got pretty nice shower facility there. But like Heather said, most of it is RV, so it's not a huge shower facility. What else? I mean,
well, the sites themselves. So we were put over there by, there's a couple of RVers that are full-time. So there's like a little section for the full-timers. There's 3 different sites, and we actually got one of those. So we had a nice, fairly large site, and you'll see that in the video, our site. A lot of grass and trees and shade. Some of the sites were really close together, but they were pull-throughs.
Right.
Some of them were right there on the pond. Some of them had a lot of space. So it really just depends what you want as to how much space there is. But for the most part, they're decently spaced.
I thought the spaces, I mean, and we've been to a lot of campgrounds, and I think even the spaces that were tighter, they were even good sized spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, in comparison to some of the other places we've been. But I think in terms of the feeling you get from the people running the place, I don't know that you can find like a more welcoming kind of welcome to our home kind of feeling from the the owners and the people that run the place. Like I said, Beth and Eldon, they it was funny. We would take Alyas up to see Beth every few days, and she got to where she would introduce Alyas to everybody when he came in. She wouldn't introduce us. She would just always introduce Alyas.
Yeah, she really enjoyed having him come. We used to get excited about going up there and sitting with her and talking to her. They're really, really sweet people. From the minute that I started talking to her on the phone with reservations to meeting them in person and just walking up there and just going up there for no other reason but just to talk. You know, they have, that reminds me, they have ice and firewood on site.
This is the thing about their firewood, guys. I normally refuse to buy campground firewood because it is always terrible and soaking wet.
And way overpriced. But their firewood, I'm not going to tell you the price because they need to raise their price, honestly. And if they do, I would not hold it against them. Their firewood is the cheapest firewood I've ever seen at a campground. And it is the best firewood I've ever seen at a campground. It burns, it doesn't smoke you out, and it's not wet. They actually store it in a barn on the campground, and so it never gets wet. Once it's cut and cured, it never gets wet. So really good firewood. I know that's kind of a funny thing to like pick out, but and I don't think it would be to everybody else. Anybody that camps, they understand that that's an important part of camping. You have to have your wood, and if you're full-timing, if you don't know, you're not allowed to take firewood from state to state. So if you're always going to a different state, you have to keep buying firewood like that. So it's something good to know.
It was good enough firewood that when we left there, we were still going to be in Kentucky, and I said, well, I don't have a problem hauling a little bit of wood. I think we bought like 5 bundles of firewood to take with us to the next campground because I was like, I know it's not going to be this cheap and this good. So.
And something else, they really think about their campers. They really think about what it is that you want and need. They used to do it. So when you go in, they don't just give you a map of the grounds. They give you like a paper of it's like 2 papers of all of their favorite things in the area. And I mean, it's things they really thought about. Yeah. They give you a laundromat. I mean, a lot of places don't think about that. They tell you where the laundromat's at, the best ones, which was pretty awesome. That place that we went to, we became kind of regulars there, and they loved Alyas.
Yeah.
But so
that's kind of the way it goes. Everywhere we go, everybody likes Alyas.
So they really put heart and thought into everything from the campground and how it's run, how it's made, to taking care of everybody and making you feel like family. Yeah. So from 1 to 5, what would you give them? What would their star rating be?
In my personal opinion, and I'm one of those people that kind of goes, well, you know, I give them a 5.
Say 5 too. You went a little.
Well, no, because I mean that's hard for me because I know there's a lot of people that go, oh, well, something can always be improved. And sure, there's probably some things that they can improve on, but I would be hard pressed to point them out. You know, and we were there for a month, and I can't think of anything that they can like go, oh, yeah, that's got to get better. So yeah, I'd give them a 5.
So star rating is a 5. So Eldon and Beth, we appreciate everything you did for us in our time and the time we had there. For those of you that do go, make sure you look them up and go check it out, and then tell them that Alyas said to tell them hello. Maybe you'll get a discount.
The Alyas rate. Yeah. That's like the Rogers rate from State Farm. The Alyas rate for campgrounds. He's over there giving them 5 stars too.